What's up, college football fans? Sonoy Valente here with the Mean Green Show, joined with Stephen Hamner with QB Spotlight. If you're a fan of college football recruiting, transfer portal, G5 football, quarterback stuff, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button to both of our channels posted down below at the Mean Green Show and QB Spotlight. You know, I talk a heavy emphasis on college football, all that stuff that I just mentioned. And Stephen does a lot of the same, but really with more of a quarterback specific focus. And this is just kind of where our worlds collide. And, you know, we are doing quarterback temperature room checks, and today we're going to talk about UNT. So, Stephen, so you know how I feel about UNT. I'm I'm not a big fan, so I have a little bit more of emotion in this one than others.
Yeah, look at the flag behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no hiding it here. Okay, we came off a good offensive statistic year. And we did that with a 2-quarterback system in Austin Aune and Jason Bean. Jason Bean really made a lot of plays with his legs predominantly, and could heave the ball down the field, if need be or whatever. And Aune, more of the standard pure passer, if you will, could also move a little bit, whatever. And moral of the story, though, neither one of them were separated themselves or proved to be our guy, long term, and, didn't have the year that we wanted to. Also, we had in 20, he had to sit out last year, 2019 transfer, Amani Gilmore. And we lost Bean to the portal. So Bean's no longer in the, in this conversation, in this race. We have Amani Gilmore out of Kentucky, transfer from the University of Kentucky, who set out last year. And we have incoming freshman who graduated early and he's there right now for the spring, Bryce Drummond. Put up monster numbers, a 3-star out of high school with a .83, 35 rating or something along those lines, but this 24/7 composite. A lot of people are really high on him, myself included. Then also we have Jace Reuter coming in from North Carolina, who was a 4-star out of high school. And was, I think, the 15th ranked dual QB in the nation in his class. And his class consisted of Tanner Mordecai, Justin Fields, and a lot of really talented guys. So there's a lot of hype coming in for him, but he is not there for the spring, unfortunately. So let me, and I know I'm a little bit wordy here. I haven't really gave you the floor because it's UNT.
Yeah.
But let me ask, and this is the way I guess I would guess to how I think they will approach it. They'll have a pretty open battle, probably with those 3 that I mentioned, with Amani, Austin Aune, and Bryce Drummond, kind of the predominant battlers for the spring. They'll get their starter after the spring, and then I feel like when Jace gets there in the summer, that he maybe will just jump the line to second to compete to see if he can beat out the first. Do you think that is like how they will approach that?
I wouldn't be surprised. I would say they'd probably still, after the spring, they would still leave the #1 job open. I don't think they would start after the spring. I don't think. So they want to see Reuter come in, during the summer, get the workouts in, then during the fall. I mean, that they could, but I think even if they did name a starter, every Conference USA fan and UNT fan knows, okay, it's just a placeholder for now, because when Reuter comes in, he's going to get his shot.
Absolutely.
And so I think, before I keep going, let me ask you this. So, we're talking about the temperature room check of the fan bases, what they think about the quarterback. And of course, you're a big, UNT geek head. So you're just, so obviously you are part of this fan base and you talk to a lot of them. And going into 2020 season, after you lost Mason Fine, what, if you can kind of revert back, obviously, 2019 wasn't the season y'all wanted, but still Mason Fine, right? He was kind of in the team. So, talking from the quarterback room perspective, what was y'all's temperature going into last year after losing Mason Fine and, one of the best quarterbacks in Conference USA history?
Okay, so obviously I can't speak for everybody but myself. Man, I don't know why, but I was pretty optimistic, and I was pretty high on Austin Aune. He played. Nobody really played a lot when Mason Fine was there, obviously, but I mean, they didn't really even put guys in trash time per se, or get guys reps when they could have a lot of the times. And if they did it, they rotated between Jason Bean, Kason Martin, or Austin Aune. And from the small samples I saw, I really liked what I saw from Austin Aune. And, he was out of high school, committed to TCU and was really high until he went and played baseball with the Yankees, program. So I was, man, dude, and I'm not saying it won't happen anymore. Like, he was only his first year as a starter, but I was going into the 2020 season, man, I was probably higher than most were, honestly, just because I was like, man, Aune could surprise us.
Yeah.
And granted, with COVID, they didn't get a spring ball, and there was a lot of things that, first year starting QB, whether it be Jason Bean or Austin Aune, could have benefited from, a lot more being starter year one.
So what was your temperature? What was your temperature? Like if you had to put a temperature on last year going in,
man, probably, I don't want to say too high, but I mean, like, I would say probably like 90, probably like a 99.5, honestly.
So you were cautiously optimistic, probably, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
definitely.
Into it. What is it right now? Going into
what is it right now? So it's
99.5 last year. So it's a decent, like it's a feverish feeling.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, okay. Okay. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing. So the bitter part being like, man, we saw kind of what Aune could and couldn't do last year, and it was like, okay, Aune may not be the guy. The downside of Aune, plus side of Aune is, well, he still might be the guy, and
Right.
those game reps might have really helped him. I mean, if he gets a full spring in, then he might, blossom into what we all kind of thought he could be. And we have Bryce Drummond, we have Amani Gilmore, but Bryce Drummond being a true freshman, I'm not putting a lot of stock in that for next year. And I know he's a highly competitive guy, and I like that, but I mean, just realistically speaking, I'm not putting too much stock for 2021 with a true freshman,
Right.
Even though Mason Fine did do it. But and then we have Amani Gilmore out of Kentucky, and haven't really heard too much buzz about him. But he is, he's a Kentucky transfer nonetheless. He's coming out of the SEC. You gotta at the very least leave him in the conversation, and let's see, and obviously Jace Reuter, everybody is very excited. The mood, he definitely upped the fan base's morale whenever we saw that, especially mine. And I just, I'm a fan of Seth Luttrell, but my thing was, I mean, if we have a bad season and he didn't attempt to go get a quarterback, that was going to be a hard pill to swallow for me. But the fact that he did, it just, I like it, so I would say, man, 99.5, I would say it's right at 100 for me,
Okay,
pretty low fever, but
a little more.
Yeah.
Good. That's probably how you think that's how most fans feel, UNT fans.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we as UNT fans, man, we don't really want to get our hopes up,
Yeah.
but there are a fair amount of people, probably like myself, that we just can't help it. It's just like, we could, because we have great recruits from a Conference USA standpoint.
Yeah.
Like we recruit very well
Yeah.
against our conference, so it's like we're very talented. And if we can just get, just we're right there on being really, really good and championship contenders, as far as our player wise, like the talent. So it's just, I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, I think obviously I'm the outsider looking in, just from the quarterback perspective. I think my temperature is probably roughly around yours. You said you're 199.5. I'm probably roughly around there for the simple fact I think Aune played better than what people gave him credit for last year. Obviously, I know there were some inconsistencies, but the biggest thing was he just didn't really grab the bull by the horn, if you will, to take that starting job. Neither did Jason Bean. It's kind of hard when you're going in, out, in, out. You can't really have a consistent feel. So I think that's one of the reasons, but also it was his first real playing time experience. So he was developing, but he showed some good things. Like you said, he's mobile enough. He's a good enough athlete, but he can, he's an accurate ball. He can throw an accurate ball, even though the completion percentage was, I think, under 55 last year. But I think that was more so of taking too many deep shots, not giving what the defense gives you. So I think you're excited about that. You're excited about, okay, I got a Kentucky transfer and I got a North Carolina transfer. So you got, 2 Power 5 transfers, and Jace Reuter, who seems like a lot think he is probably going to be the guy, or at least he has a good shot to be the guy. And so good high school film, backed up Sam Howell, who's going to be a first-round pick, most likely. So it wasn't like he lost to some nobody, right? He lost a legit guy. And he's been able to develop. So he's had several years at a college program too. And so I think I think you speculate some, but you're cautiously and conservatively optimistic, right?
Definitely.
As a UNT fan, like I don't want to get my hopes up. As someone who just thinks the quarterback perspective is like, hey, these guys got talent. Can they continue to develop? And can you bring in Jace Reuter and can he take the horns? Can at least one of those guys take the bull by the horns and run with the starting job? Because you don't want to go a flip flop situation like last year, right?
No.
Yeah.
So let me, and you can speak, more objectively than obviously I can. So from the outside looking in at the UNT, QB room, two questions. A, if you had to place your bet, who do you think is going to be the starter? B,
No, I don't like that.
Okay, and then B, let's say the starter is Jace. Do you think Reuter will be able to get the offense down from getting there in June? Do you think he'll be kind of ready to go come? And our first game is Northwestern State, a very winnable FCS team. I think we'll probably see 3 quarterbacks in that game. And the following game is SMU. And from a realistic standpoint, man, I would love to go upset SMU at home, at their home. But if we lose SMU, I'm not, we got to pull the quarterback, no, not at all. But do you think, A, who do you think is going to start if you had to place a bet? And then B, regardless if it's him or not, do you think Reuter will be able to get the offense down and go by fall, being that he will get there in June?
So I think, yes, I think Reuter will be able to get the offense down. I don't necessarily think that means he's going to start, right? Now he could, but I think he'll get it down. It wouldn't surprise me to see Austin Ani get the start versus Northwestern State.
Mm-hmm.
Get Reuter to learn more, get more reps, and you play Northwestern State. If you lose to Northwestern State, you got bigger problems in the quarterback, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Assume that's taken care of. So I would say, I know you want to have a starting quarterback by fall, right? But I would say I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhat open competition until conference starts.
Yeah.
Like you have Northwestern State, then you have SMU. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ani starts the season off as a starter, but I don't know if that necessarily means – I don't know if I believe he'll finish the season as the starter.
Yeah.
I know I just say you don't want to have a flip-flop situation, but I think the first game or two, you can have a little more plug and play, if you will. You just want to have that set before you get to conference. So now I kind of popped out on that. But I think Reuter can pick it up definitely. I think the experience helped. And then I think I wouldn't be surprised if Ani starts, but that doesn't mean I believe he's going to finish the year as a starter.
Okay. So let's say, for hypothetical reasons, by fourth of the way into the season, Jace Reuter is the established starter.
Okay.
We're 2 games in a conference or something, whatever. I hate stirring the pot, but let's pretend
you love stirring the pot.
Yeah. Not when it comes to UNT though. I like doing it for SMU or a school that I can just watch burn from a distance, but not North Texas. But so Bryce Drummond, coming in, he's a solid quarterback pickup for us, and there is a lot of hype around him. The only knock on him is he did play 1 A ball in Oklahoma, so the competition was not the best. And you can make the same case for Reuter being out of Kansas, but just obviously Reuter was a significantly higher rated recruit than Bryce coming out of high school. Not that ratings are everything, but they are something to go off of. And so let's say, and dude, to everyone's knowledge, Reuter has 4 years left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So because he redshirted in 2018, medical redshirted in 2019, 2 injuries. 2020 was a year 0, so he has 4 years if he wants to. He does, let's say he does it's at the end of the season, he's going to be the starter unless he wants to, until he says no, or whatever. Do you think we can keep Bryce? Do you think Ani would consider? Ani's a little bit older, he's 27.
Right.
I don't know if he's really, I can't speak for him, but I don't know if he would just, okay, I'll be the second string quarterback and have fun, or whatever.
Right.
And then Amani, you think, do you think we can retain out of those 3 guys? Who do you think transfers?
Out of
Bryce, Amani, and Ani.
Oh man. I don't think anyone ends up transferring because you already have 2 transfers, and I think the quarterbacks ahead of Bryce are already down the road. But if I had to guess and speculate, it'd be the go-to guess would be Bryce, right? If
Mhm.
it transfers, just because he's the freshman, and two of the other guys already transferred.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all transferred essentially,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and so, but again, I don't assume. I think Jace is probably, hey, I want to come in, just crush it for 2 or 3 years, get out of there. Bryce is, if he's okay, redshirting for a year, being the backup, and then
Yeah.
take over. That's probably best case scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man, it would be, from a UNT fan standpoint, I would love it if Jace Reuter could come in here and play 2 years and maybe
Yeah.
get drafted out of UNT, or elect and just get picked up as a free agent, and then Bryce could take over as a redshirt sophomore and, have 3 years to maybe follow and do the same thing, but that's obviously very hopeful, wishful thinking. But, we'll see. I mean, anything else we didn't touch on as far as the quarterback room goes that you can think of?
I bet you could talk UNT quarterback and UNT football all day. So
Yeah.
that's all I got, though. Nothing else.
Yeah. I better cut myself off. Well, all right, guys, let us know what you think, UNT fans, college football fans, who do you guys think the starter's going to be? Do you think we're going to be able to retain these quarterbacks if they don't start, next year? And, how do you think this is going to shake out? And once again, Steven, we always appreciate you coming on to talk a little UNT football.
Definitely. We'll see you next time.
All right.